What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a brand new series on the channel, Top 10 Things I Bet You Didn't Know in Terraria. So if you're new here, welcome. But if you're not new here, you know that I make top 10 videos on Garden Warfare 2. Well, since I'm starting to make Terraria videos, I said, why not make these on Terraria as well? So if you guys do go on to enjoy, make sure to drop a like. If you guys are new, subscribe. Hopefully you find something here that you didn't know before. And let's get into number 10. So starting off, if you guys don't know how this works, it goes from probably the most well-known to the least well-known. So number 10 might have a lot of people knowing this fact. But number 10 is going to be the Worm Relics, the Eater of Worlds, and the Destroyer Relics. You can actually face them in different directions. It's a pretty simple one, but one that I only found out a month or two ago. So maybe some other people didn't know about this one. It's a really simple one. This is really it. I mean, it's not really that, that crazy. But these are relics that you can move in different directions. So if you don't like how it's facing in one direction, you can move it to the other. I have a little bit of trouble doing this. However, I don't know why. It just like randomly works sometimes and other times it doesn't. But there might be something I'm missing. I don't know. But that's going to be number 10. Coming up at number 9, it's going to be, there are ducks in the game, right? And they make pretty duck-sounding quacking noises, right? They make pretty duck-sounding noises, except for the off chance that you get this noise.
Quack.
Yeah, there's actually a developer's voice in the game, and that is the voice. He just went quack, and they thought it was funny enough to add it in. It's a pretty funny Easter egg. I knew this for quite some time, but I told my friend recently, and he didn't know this. It's a pretty funny one. I was playing one day, and I mean, I knew this was in the game, and then I heard it, and it brought back me remembering that this was in the game in the first place. It's not the most well-known thing ever, but, if somebody has been playing Terraria for more than like 100 hours, I guarantee you they probably know this. It's really funny to me how they decided to add this in. Like, they just don't care at this point. They'll add anything in if it's funny. And you know what? It's got my laugh. Coming up at number 8, if you wear the sunglasses crafted with 2 black lenses, if it is daytime, the sun will actually put sunglasses on with you. The reason why this isn't super well known is going to be because black lens is pretty rare. You don't normally go through a playthrough and get 2 black lens, let alone 1. And if you do, most of the time you make the optic staff, which is used for hard mode summoner class. You're not really thinking about using it on a vanity item, but if you do actually use it on a vanity item, or you just mod them in for whatever reason, you will notice that the sun has joined you in looking like James Bond. Coming up at number 7 was actually changed in 1.4.2, and that is that drills actually used to mine slower than pickaxes. For whatever reason, the developers in Terraria decided to do a little bit of trolling and make drills worse than pickaxes for some reason. It was by a very tiny margin, so it really wouldn't have made like a 10, 15, 20 second difference in your mining. It probably would have made like a 5-second difference if you were just mining straight down. But they did actually use to mine slower. I learned this watching a video a few years back. And I actually was going to put this in saying that drills still mine slower, but I actually didn't know that they updated this. But the reason why they updated this and the big change is that drills actually have -1 range, but they mine faster than pickaxes. Pickaxes have +1 range, but they mine slower. It's a whole thing. I still use drills because drills are just cool. I've always used drills. Drills are just cooler than pickaxes. It's not even an opinion. That is fact. I'm kidding, of course, but yes, so drills did actually used to mine slower than pickaxes, and I realized that I'm dragging this on, so I apologize, and that is going to be number 7. Coming up at number 6 is going to be banners dropped by the Old One's army are only vanity items and do not grant any buffs when placed. So, like any other mob in Terraria, every 50 times you kill them, they drop a banner. For example, if I kill a green slime 50 times, he'll give me 1 banner. If I kill him another 50 times, adding up to 100, I'll get another banner, and so on. This is the same case with the Old One's army. However, their banners do not grant any extra buffs when placed. Usually you get like a defensive buff, and I'm pretty sure you do extra damage to them. But for some reason, the Old One's army, you just don't get any buffs. I don't know why it's like this, but yeah, you just don't get any buffs. I'm assuming it's to make it harder, because I'm sure as you progress in Terraria, the Old One's army gets harder, and if you have banners that increase your defense around them or make you do more damage, it's obviously not going to be as hard as they intended it to be. So yeah, it's a little cool thing I didn't know, because I don't really fight the Old One's army in my playthroughs, but when I was researching this, I thought it was pretty cool to add. And coming up at number 5 is also going to be about banners, and that is the Archdemon banner is technically still in the game. If you started playing Terraria before 1.3, you would remember an enemy, the Archdemon. I sure do, because I started playing Terraria when this enemy was still in the game, but the Archdemon was an enemy. It was just a variant of the demon. I don't think it had anything extra special towards him. He had a different sprite. I'll put the comparisons on screen right now. But basically, the Archdemon was removed in the 1.3 update. Now, I think I have an idea why. It was basically just another pointless enemy. I think he was filler for probably like a bat that was introduced. The lava bat, I'm pretty sure, was introduced in 1.3, so I'm sure he was probably just filler. But yeah, he was just a variant of the demon who did really nothing else. I think he did a little extra damage, but whatever. Anyways, if you go into the underground, you can actually find the Archdemon banner. Now, it's not the Archdemon banner, but it still indicates the Archdemon on the banner. As you can see, here's his face, and then here's the banner. It still has the Archdemon on it, and I found this really cool because the Archdemon was one of those mobs where when I came back to Terraria after 1.3 released, it was probably like a 2-year break, so I was so used to 1.2, and I just couldn't find an Archdemon. Then I looked it up, and he was gone. And I vividly remember the Archdemon because I played a hell of a lot of Terraria back in like 2015, 2014 when he was in the game. And I do remember him, and seeing him gone kind of made me upset since, you know, that was the Archdemon. I remembered him, and he was just gone. Seeing him still in the game is pretty cool. And I guarantee you a lot of people actually didn't know this because I don't usually stroll through the underworld looking for banners. I don't know if you guys do, but I normally don't. So a lot of people probably just pass by this and never really notice. Coming up at number 4 is going to be PC exclusive, and that is when you tab off of Terraria, there is always some sort of little secret message on the tab. For me right now, it says, "You sand, bro." Don't know why it says this specifically, but there will always be a little message there, which I thought was really cool. I didn't ever really notice this. When I tab out of Terraria, I just quickly tab back onto the game with Shift tab, so I don't really hover over it. But when I did notice this, I thought it was just a tooltip, like a permanent one, and it said something like, "Terraria now in 3D," and I was just like, okay, just a joke. But then I did it again, and I realized it changed. And then I kept trying it, and every single time you refresh your Terraria, there's a chance that this changes. So yeah, pretty cool feature. Again, it's PC exclusive, so already a lot of people who play on console probably did not know this. Coming up at number 3 is a little bit of a disgusting one, and one that I was kind of shocked to find out, and that is if you have any of the well-fed buffs, rather that be a minor, a medium, or a major, if you sit on a toilet, depending on what well-fed buff you have, you will get a certain number of poop. Yes, you will get poop blocks. And it gives you a debuff when you stand on them. It's like the stinky debuff. I don't think it really does anything. It only lasts like 2 or 3 seconds. But yeah, you get poop. Makes sense, obviously, but I just need to question why. Why would they do this? Coming up at number 2 is going to be in journey mode. So if you name your journey mode character Wolf Pet or Wolf Space Pet, you will spawn with Lilith's... God, I can't say this. Lilith's necklace. You will spawn with Lilith's necklace, and what this does is it turns you into a wolf. So yeah, journey mode already starts you off with a ton of stuff, but the thing it doesn't start you off with is a mount. So if you want to get a quick mount for your journey mode travels and adventures, yeah, there you go. Wolf Pet. Free of charge, just, you know, have to live with your character being named Wolf Pet until you rename them. So yeah, pretty cool feature. I didn't actually know oh my god. Lilith's necklace. I did not know Lilith's necklace even existed until my most recent playthrough where I killed a wolf and I got it. So this doesn't have anything to do with the fact, but I just was like, oh, cool, Lilith's necklace. What a coincidence. I just had that. But it is actually a pretty good mount, considering that when you're in the mount, you literally turn yourself into a wolf. You're not riding a wolf, you are the wolf, and you can do everything. Like, you can use your rocket boost, you can mine, you can fight, which is actually like a super cool mount. This is one of the most unique mounts, if not the most unique mount in the game, because you literally turn into a wolf. I literally killed the lunatic cultist with this mount, so it is a really cool mount, and I 100% suggest you guys try this mount out with this little fact. And my number 1 pick for the top 10 thing I bet you didn't know on this list is going to be Terraria Unknown Graphics. So this is going to be a lot of information, right? It's going to be a lot of stuff that I'm going to show you. Coming up first is the first fractal, probably the most well-known unknown sprite or unused content in Terraria, This, I don't know its original use, but it says here that it's actually present within the game and works when cheated in. Attacking with the weapon will cause clones of the user to fly forward and attack the closest enemy with the first fractal itself. So, yeah, it was originally supposed to be some sort of unique sword instead of just swinging around. I think this might have been the replacement to the Zenith, but originally the Zenith got chosen over this. I don't know. But the next item is going to be the Skull Bow. This really doesn't have any information other than this sprite. The next ones are going to be the Celestial Tools. These are a lot of the unknown sprites, such as the chainsaws and the hammers, as you can see. These were unused. Next up is the Lesser Restoration Potion. It's just the Restoration Potion, but lesser, obviously. The Unobtainable Banners. The Blue Cultist Fighter Banner, White Cultist Archer Banner, White Cultist Caster Banner, White Cultist Fighter Banner, Poisonous Spore Banner, Severed Hand Banner, and Small Star Cell Banner. I don't know why some of these don't have banners. I think the reason why the Small Star Cell doesn't have a banner is because they're so easy to kill that most of the time people farm them and they're killing like 30 at once. So I think that might be why. That obviously makes sense. Or they could have made it so instead of just 50 for this specific mob, you had to kill 100 to get the banner instead. The White Cultist Archer NPC, as we can see, we went over the banner, and this is why the banner wasn't used. The Jungle Mimic, which I actually knew existed before this. The Dazed Effect. The Lunatic Cultist Treasure Bag, which for some reason I actually don't know why this isn't in the game. The Mud Ball Projectile. These are achievements. Behind the Mask, slay the Insane Cultist, a mad magician with powerful spells. Davy Jones' Locker, defeat the Flying Dutchman. The Sails of the Plunderin' Skies. Winterhearted, defeat the Ice Queen, Wicked Witch of the Coldest Nights. Pumpkin Smasher, defeat the Pump King, the Spooky Lord of Hollow's Eve. Independence Day, defeat a mothership, Overminds of the Martian Invaders. And Hex Education, defeat a Goblin Summoner, Conjurers of Darkest Flames. I don't know why these weren't used. I mean, I love more achievements. When the newest Terraria update came out, when I saw there was like 11 more achievements, I was jumping with joy because I just love achievement hunting, especially in Terraria. Next one is going to be the Phasic Warp Ejector. I don't really know how to pronounce that. It says this item seems to have been intended to be obtainable during the Martian Madness event. The Mana Orb, the Ogre Treasure Bag, the Dark Mage Treasure Bag, the Ogre Mask, the Goblin Bomber Cap, Etherean Javelin, Kobold Dynamite Backpack, and the Boring Bow. Apple Pie Slice, a bunch of trapped chest items, purple fairy wings, Ice Morn, the original Scythe, which I think looks super cool, and what's even cooler is the last item on this list, the Soul Scythe, which I just think looks super, super awesome. And I completely lied because there are more unused graphics, except these are not items, these are enemies. There was a 4th snowman for the Frost Legion event. It looks like he has dynamite on his head. And I'm assuming he would have just ran into you and bombed you. The Severed Hand, which as you all know, we went over the banner, and that's why the banner is not used. And Deerclop's leg. Well, this is just a joke. This is just an unused sprite. But yeah, that is all of the unused items and unused enemy sprites that I could find. Let me know if there are more that you guys know of. And that is going to be number 1. Alright guys, that is going to do it for today's list of the top 10 things I bet you didn't know in Terraria. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to drop a like. If you guys are new, subscribe. Comment down below which ones you knew and which ones you didn't. Again, this is my first ever top 10 things I bet you didn't know about Terraria. There's probably more to come, considering this game gets updated probably every 2 months, every 3 months. So yeah, considering this game still does get updated, there will be a lot more to come. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.